Well folks, here we are for day one of my Special Projects Community Car Pack in Gran Turismo 7, something which I had the idea of doing in addition to whatever polyphony brings us this month. So for those of you who have chosen to join in, I hope you enjoy these. These are basically a collaboration for the most part between myself and a number of livery and body style creators in the game. None of them know that I'm doing this, so be sure to give them some love, kind of Secret Santa style. The first one here, of course, is my favourite of the 10 that I'm doing, the SLR McLaren 722 GT edition. For those who don't know, it's basically Mercedes equivalent to the Ferrari FXX. It's that one-make racing style, exclusive program, based on their existing supercar. It's a car that you don't see in many games for whatever reason, and it's one which I've always loved. We're not trying to even run the exact same specs as a real one because, of course, there are a number of settings on the real car that we just wouldn't know, but what we are doing is a close approximation so that you can get an idea of what the car would feel like in the game and also, of course, have a lot of fun with it. Now, as far as the parts go, you want your Stage 1 weight reduction. Then, as far as the Club Sports section, I would go for the Stage 2 weight, of course, the power restrictor, if you ever need it, and the ballast. As far as semi-racing, you want your fully customised computer, the fully customised limited slip diff, Stage 3 weight reduction, and I would recommend the body rigidity, again to make it feel more like a race car. As far as the racing parts, you only need to fit the racing filter and the racing silencer, and then the racing pads and the discs. It doesn't really matter if you go for slotted discs or drilled discs, or you could even go for the carbon ceramics. It's all down to you. Then down here we have the racing clutch and flywheel, the fully customised suspension, fully customised transmission, of course the Stage 4 weight as well, and I've gone for racing hard tyres. So if you want to go for softs or mediums, of course you'll get even more grip and a higher point level, but I wanted to show what it could do on just regular racing tyres. And then for extreme, I haven't done anything there, so I'll leave stuff like Ness and carbon ceramics down to you. The ceramics don't really make much of a difference over the existing racing brakes, so that's your choice. Then, as far as the visual package, you do need to come into the car section service, fit the wide body kit, which of course this one already has. Then you want to go into the search section in the main menu and look up this particular user to find this build. And of course this gives you the livery and all of the visual body parts. You can use this username and all these tags to find it. I think it's a really nice design that they've done, and I would not recommend changing anything that they have done, because you can change things. You know, on some builds that people have done, you can still like take the wing off or change the number plate. If you want to do that, go for it. I haven't changed anything that they've done because it's a very good representation of the car. Then of course we'll jump back into the home garage to show you my section of this, which is the inside stuff, the technical stuff. So, depending on where you look, some places say this has 670 horsepower, some places say 680. So again, it's down to you. I've gone for 670 with a weight of 1,350 kilos. Now, you want to fit, of course, all of the parts that we just said. So your racing hards, first of all, the race suspension. I would recommend 100mm for ride height on the front, 105 on the back. Anti-roll all the way up to 7, 28 on the compression for the dampers, 38 on the rebound, or expansion as they call it, 3.45 on the frequency, again front and rear, 3 degrees of camber, very much what you'd expect from like a Group 3 machine, and as you can see from the points, again, at least at the time of releasing this, because updates mess around with points all the time, so this will probably change, but it sits at about the same kind of level as a number of Group 3 cars anyway, which makes sense. I would recommend 10 degrees of toe in on the back, 5 degrees out, or I guess I should say 0.5 out on the front. That makes it more stable. Then as far as the diff, of course the diff has arguably more of a say in handling than anything else that you can do. I've gone for 10 on initial torque, 20 for acceleration, 50 for braking. As I always like to say though, be sure to mess around with the tune. You might find something that you prefer, something that you already know you prefer or already find quicker for any particular car. And I definitely recommend making Frankenstein builds between what I've said and what you want to try. Because if you think about it, if you change it and find that it's not as good, you can just come back to the video and do this again. Of course, Ness is not fitted. As far as the transmission, I've gone for a very modest setting, 340 kilometers an hour. You've only got 5 gears to work with. Of course, the SLR, that's what you've always got to work with. So they're pretty long gears, nice and smooth. Then as far as the ballast, I've added 78 kilos and then put that 24% toward the rear. We're still working with a 50-50 split though, no power restrictor, no adjustment on the ECU, and, unsurprisingly, the maximum downforce. Again, that's down to you. If you take it on a track where you need more top-end speed to sacrifice some handling, then you could change that. And then as far as the parts, of course, we've only fitted the air cleaner, the silencer, the drill discs, the racing pads, and the clutch and flywheel, and then down here, of course, you can see our weight reduction. I believe you can probably win a stage 5 weight from a wheel spin. Of course, I haven't done that, partially because it's unnecessary, but also because using stuff like that just isn't fair for people who haven't won it. So that's it for the tune, and for the complete build. Of course, give the creator of the design some love, but all that remains is obviously to take this beast out to the track. I'm going to take it out to Road Atlanta and show you what it can do. Now, as far as this 722 GT representation goes on a track, it definitely falls in line with what you would expect, which is that it is heavier through corners than an actual Group 3 car. Again, it is a road car that we're working with at the end of the day, so even though it looks and has the specs of a race car, you are still working with a representation of a race car, not the actual thing. It's a pity that we're probably never going to get this car in the game, because I'd love to be able to compare it to what I've done here. But overall, this is definitely a build which is close to my heart, because I love the SLR. It's my favourite Mercedes, it's one of my dream cars, and the 722 GT, in my opinion at least, really does not get enough love. So try out this build. Of course, if you are sticking around for all 10 of these builds that I'm releasing in the Special Projects car pack, then of course stick around for that through all of this week, and be sure to check out the other ones. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.